bill that passed last night aims to cut $2 trillion.
Right.
Can you guarantee that Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security will not be touched?
Yeah, I mean, I have said it so many times, you shouldn't be asking me that question. Okay? This will not be read my lips. It won't be read my lips anymore. We're not going to touch it. We're not going to touch it. We're not going to touch it.
And with that, an absolute shocker to no one, if y'all pay attention to this stuff.
Well, congressional Republicans are doing what they do best. No, not coming up with new and exciting ways to be racist in public without using slurs. No, I'm talking about screwing over millions of hardworking Americans in favor of the ultra-rich. That old chestnut. Yeah, they passed a budget resolution that would gut Medicaid and food stamps to cover over $1 trillion in tax cuts for the 1%. And conservatives online are celebrating it, which is weird to me because I know they can't all be part of the 1% on account of how percentages work and everything. So I don't understand what y'all are cheering. And they say, oh no, Trump already said he's going to help working people because there's going to be no taxes on tips and overtime and stuff. All right, but those things are like the governmental equivalent of working for a soulless corporation that'll write you up for attending the birth of your child. But, you know, sometimes on Fridays they let us untuck our shirts and eat cold pizza. Like, comparatively, those measures ain't. All right, but much, much more importantly, also, they ain't even doing them. All right, those things ain't part of this resolution.
Trae Crowder, friend of the network, goes ham on House Republicans who approve of these cuts to make our lives an absolute living hell.
We're going to have some hard decisions. We got to bring the Democrats in and talk about Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare. There's hundreds of billions of dollars to be saved, and we know how to do it. We just have to have the stomach to actually take those challenges on.
Word of advice: do not listen to a damn thing any Republican says on cutting health care, especially this dude.
When you talk about school lunches, hey, I worked my way through high school. I don't know about you, but I worked since I was, before I was even 13 years old. I was picking berries in the field before we had child labor laws that precluded that. I was a paper boy. And when I was in high school, I worked my entire way through. You're telling me that kids who stay at home instead of going to work at Burger King and McDonald's during the summer should stay at home and get their free lunch instead of going to work? I think we need to have a top-down review. Where is the money really being spent? Who can actually go and actually produce their own income? Who can actually go out there and do something that makes them have value and work skills for the future? I mean, how many people got their start in fast food restaurants when they were kids versus just giving a blanket rule that gives all kids lunches in high school who are capable of going out and actually getting a job and doing something that makes them have value, thinking about their future instead of thinking about how they're going to sponge off the government when they don't need to. We don't give people value. We don't give them the ability to dig themselves out when we penalize them for actually working and actually keep them on welfare. That's what's been the inner city problem.
Richard McCormick, a bloodsucker out of Georgia, has a net worth in the millions, yet sees struggling Americans who are not only entitled, but should be given free school lunches as a way to pivot into the bootstraps myth. Shame on these people.
And they might say, well, you know, either way, they're balancing the budget, they're trimming government spending, and that's good for all of us. Look, not to get too professorial on you, but nuh-uh. This is going to increase this country's debt. How are you okay with that as a conservative? One Republican in Congress voted no on this because he said it's going to increase our debt, and I just don't think that would be, you know, fiscally responsible. To which all of his congressional Republican colleagues responded by making the motion and saying, oh, is it fiscally responsible, Tom? Hey, somebody call the zoo, tell them one of their rhinos escaped, huh? And then they all high-fived and gave each other another 6-day weekend. These people are not working to help you. So why are you cheering? Right? And unfortunately, I think the answer for a lot of Americans is these policies, it doesn't matter if they help them or not, so long as they do hurt the right others, i.e. the dirty, dastardly poor. They're just a bunch of lazy leeches, right?
Crowder is spot on here. It remains depressing how members of the working class and the electorate continue this division instead of uniting for all of us to benefit. Hey guys, quick break in the action. I have a new show coming out called The Rick Strom Show. It is going to be awesome. I'm interviewing musicians, athletes, producers, writers, journalists, authors, sports doctors. Go check it out at youtube.com/@TheRickStrom Show. Also be sure to throw me a follow on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, It can all be found in the description box below. Thank you.
In health news, a new study is projecting as many as 20 million people could lose Medicaid coverage under a Republican congressional bill to cut the Affordable Care Act's Medicaid expansion match rate. Republicans are also pushing for work requirements for Medicaid recipients. American Hospital Associations harshly criticized proposals to cut funding for Medicaid, saying Medicaid provides health care to many of our most vulnerable populations, including pregnant women, children, the elderly, disabled, and many of our working class, unquote.
I think what we're going to see this year is a more targeted approach, really targeting cuts in Medicaid, which is our healthcare coverage system for people with low and moderate incomes. And as you said at the beginning, it is kids, it is adults, it is parents, it is workers, it is seniors, and it is people with disabilities. Medicaid is an important linchpin in our health coverage system, covering, again, 72 million people, including 20 million of whom are now getting coverage because of the Affordable Care Act's Medicaid expansion, very much in the crosshairs for some Republican members of Congress.
Another point to all Republicans and conservatives: stop calling yourselves pro-life. This isn't very pro-life. Removing healthcare to benefit billionaires is not pro-life. Endorsing cuts to services that save lives is not pro-life. Stop bullshitting yourself.
The point is, stop looking at these programs as an endless money glitch for a bunch of freeloaders and look at them instead as an investment in one of our most vital resources, each other. All right, and I'm walking, breathing, talking proof that the ROI can be pretty damn good. We can use these programs to lift up countless other Americans out of poverty and into a place where they can and will contribute mightily, or we can pay for another volcano layer lava pool for a dorky cringe lord billionaire. All right, look, giving these rich people even more money is not going to work. You know how I know? Because we've been doing it for more than 40 goddamn years. If the blessed urine of our betters was ever going to trickle down to us, I think we'd have felt a drop or two by now. All right, so I'm imploring you, wake up, stop tongue polishing the boot that's on your throat, and recognize the value of investing in your fellow Americans.
Amen to that, Trae. Amen to that. To see more of Trae, head over to his YouTube, which is located via the URL youtube.com/@Trae Crowder Liberal Redneck. And for tour updates, to see Trae in person, head to wellreadcomedy.com. Red spelled R-E-D. Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/TYT Sports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day. Calling out elite people in comedy should be the rule of thumb.
I think Donald Trump's hair is actually another creature.
Yeah.
The hair's like going, good night, Donald. Good night, Donald. There we go.
Maybe it goes out. It goes out and makes money while he's asleep.
There is something about punching down that feels taboo, and punching up is the way to go.
Crack's not really my thing, but if it was, it would be fine if I was on that side.
Wow.
Don Jr.'s on coke.
We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated. I'm a very stable genius.
It is very important, the work that the Jordan Kleppers are doing, the work that the Good Liars are doing, the work that our team here at the Turks are doing, and many more.
Used to see these tackles, now they tackle. Oh, head-on-head collision. Bing, flag. Football's become soft.
You have Trump doing sound effects for tackles. The choice could not be more clear. Let's not beat around the bush about it.